guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my labor and delivery story, and somewhere during this video I will be introducing my little baby. As you know, we are in the middle of a pandemic, so giving birth during this time is a little different, to say the least. I did deliver June 16th. If you were pregnant during the coronavirus, then I'm pretty sure you know that it has been a very different experience. That goes for doctor's appointments, any checkups, labor and delivery. Everything is just way different than it would be if it was normal. This whole pregnancy has basically just been me. I feel like the whole time that I was pregnant, I was pretty much going to my doctor's appointments all alone, and it was kind of sad, you know, because with my first pregnancy with my daughter, I always had someone there with me to support. Yeah, it was kind of sad, but I'm happy that I went through it before, so when I went to my doctor's appointments I already knew what to expect. You know, the only thing that sucks is that with the ultrasounds I was just there by myself, and the experience was just totally different. Aside from that, we are going to be talking about obviously the main part, which is my labor and delivery. So let's just get right into it. I just want to put a little disclaimer out there that I didn't vlog the entire thing. I pretty much have little clips, so I'm going to tell the story and I will be inserting the clips in as I go, whatever clips that I do have, which is probably not that many. Pretty much I was over being pregnant, which is, I feel like every pregnant woman when you get towards the end of pregnancy, which is like 38, 39, 40 weeks. So by 38 weeks I was pretty much just trying to get the baby out. So I was going on walks with my daughter. I did go, if you live in LA, I went to the Silver Lake Reservoir and I walked around the reservoir like 2.5 times, and I did that every day for like 3 days. But with my daughter I was overdue, so I was like a week and a half past, I believe. So I was like, okay, I gotta stop being lazy and just get this over with. But with this pregnancy, I feel like I had a really hard time the entire pregnancy with my pelvic girdle pain and back pain. Towards the end it just got like really worse, so as you can imagine I was like really over the entire thing. So I was like, I just want this baby out, I want to meet him already, blah blah blah. My first day I started doing walks. I believe I was a little bit before 39 weeks, so I did my Silver Lake walk. I think that next day we had just came back from Seafood City. I bought the little panda cookies. I bought them in chocolate and strawberry. I bought them so I can pack them in my hospital bag as a snack. Mind you that my hospital bag was not packed at the time, so I'm trying to get the baby out, but yet my hospital bag is not packed because I'm such a last minute person. So anyways, as soon as we get home from Seafood City, because we were gonna do a little barbecue or whatever, I was walking up the steps to like bring everything in, and as soon as I like hit a certain step I just felt a gush of water, which felt like water to me. I instantly thought that my water had broke. I went to the bathroom and I was like freaking out. I called my boyfriend and then he was like, oh my gosh, I think your water broke. So he called his mom, and then his mom came in and she was like, yeah, I think your water broke, like you guys should go to the hospital. Since I wasn't in pain, I was packing my hospital bag last minute. After that we ate, because once you get to the hospital they do not let you eat. So we ate some food, packed the hospital bag, dropped off my daughter to her grandma, and then we went on our way to the hospital. Okay, so this is what they just gave me. Look how big I am. I'm so nervous. Right now I'm having no contractions still. So let's see what they told me. I delivered at Kaiser in Hollywood. so they do not allow you to bring in anybody with you to labor and delivery until they actually admit you. So if you have had a baby before, then you would know that when you are in active labor, or when you think you might be in labor, they put you in a room first where they examine you and they pretty much just monitor you to make sure that it's real. And then from there, they will make sure that they have a room ready for you and then transfer you into the room that you will actually give birth in. So I went into the room. Andy was downstairs just waiting for me to let him know if I was gonna get a room or not. And then they did the little swab to see if my water had broke, but the doctor said that it didn't. It was just my mucus plug. So usually in pregnancies, the mucus plug can come out in different ways. Some people, they don't even, what's the word, like a mucus plug doesn't even come out of them. Mine was different than the first pregnancy. This one was like very watery. I know, TMI, but it was like really watery and it looked like as if my water would have broke, rather than the first pregnancy, it came out looking like a mucus plug. So the doctor was like, no, your water didn't break, you can go home. So I was kind of disappointed because I obviously really wanted the baby out, and everybody in my family thought that my water had broke. So I feel like when you have false alarms, it's kind of like, you know, like I really gotta go back. But I feel like that's very common. That happened with me in my first pregnancy, and it happened again with my second. So whatever, I went back home and I was like, I'm just gonna like continue to try to get this baby out. So I was bouncing on the bouncy ball. And so I started bouncing on the bouncy ball and I started having more contractions. So let me go back. When I was at the hospital waiting for them to check me if my water had broke or not, I was having contractions. The doctor told me that they were little contractions. She asked me if I felt them, but I was like, no, I don't feel anything. So yeah, I was having contractions. I just couldn't feel them. Later on that night, when I came home, I started having contractions, I believe throughout the night into the day. I'm not really too sure if I went to the hospital the next day or the day after, but I will go ahead and correct everything in this video. If I miss anything, I'll put the dates, times, whatever, because it's all in here. Once I was having contractions, they started to become more frequent, and I was getting really scared because I was like, okay, this might be real labor. Mode. I started to track them on my app. My contractions started to come every 2 minutes. First, they were every 7 minutes. So since this was my second pregnancy, it was recommended to start going to the hospital already. But I didn't want to go and then be sent back home. So I was like, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Then they started to become every 5 minutes, and then 3, 2. So at that point, I was like, okay, I need to go to the hospital now before I wait too long. So we ended up going to the hospital, and of course Andy had to wait downstairs again. So I was like, okay, like I'll be back. I'm thinking it's gonna be quick because I know my contractions are already like every 2 minutes. Second time here. This time having contractions. I tell the doctor, and from this point on, I had nothing but guy doctors. So the man, the doctor, he tells me basically that I'm only 2 centimeters dilated. I was 2 centimeters dilated. So I was 2 centimeters dilated. He ended up checking me, and he told me basically to go back home. He was like, you are having contractions every 2 minutes, but I want you to go back home and labor at home. At that point, I was really annoyed because I was feeling a lot of pain, and my main thing is I want my epidural. So to each their own, but me personally, when I give birth, well, when I gave birth with my first and my second, I wanted the epidural because I do not want to feel any pain. If I could not feel pain, then why feel pain? I looked him in the eyes because I was annoyed. I was like, so you're telling me that you want me to go home even though my contractions are every 2 minutes apart? And he was like, yeah, with your first daughter, you know, with your first pregnancy, how long did it take you to like progressed. And I was like, I progressed pretty good. I explained to him that I had my daughter like very quickly. I got my epidural at 3 centimeters, and within a few hours she was born. So I was like, everything was really fast, and I know my body and I don't want to go home. So he recommended me to wait 30 minutes. So he told me I could either go home or I can wait 30 minutes to see if I dilate. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait 30 minutes because I don't want to drive home and then have to come back. Because where I live, it's like, it's not far, but it's like 10-15 minutes away from Hollywood, from the actual Kaiser hospital. So I was like, by the time I drive home and then have to come back, like what if there's traffic? Like, no, I'm not doing that. So I was like, I'm just gonna stay here. I swear, you guys, he came back like in 10 minutes and he was like, okay, so it's been about 30 minutes, you're still the same, so we're gonna have to send you home now. And I was so annoyed because it wasn't even 30 minutes. But at this point I was just like, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with the doctor. So he gave me a shot of morphine. He gave me a shot of that, if you know what I'm talking about. It's basically like a pain relief to like help me sleep, but it's not going to take away like the contractions or anything. It's just a very small pain relief. Once I got that shot, I literally was feeling all my pain, except I felt like drowsy, like really tired. So I got my papers, I went downstairs, I told Andy like, we gotta go home again. This is the second time that I'm getting sent home. I was like really annoyed. I told Andy, explained to him the whole thing.
So I was having contractions that started to become like 2 to 3 minutes apart, lasting like a minute and a half. But the doctor sent me home because I'm only 2 centimeters dilated. 2.
We went home. I was like falling asleep on the car right there because of the morphine. Once we got home, once I closed my eyes, like I literally laid into bed, I like threw my blanket over, turned to the side, and literally once I closed my eyes, I felt like I peed myself. So I was like, okay, I think my water broke this time. Like, this is serious. Like, my water just like broke, like for real. And so like literally, like as soon as we got home, we had to leave again. Like, I changed my clothes, we went right back to the hospital. Now I'm even more annoyed because I was like, if he would have just listened to me the first time, like, I know my body, I've had a baby before, I know my body progresses quickly. So even though I was 2 centimeters, my contractions were every 2 minutes, not 5, not 7, 2. So I get to the hospital, I go upstairs. At this point I'm in pain, so I'm like holding on to the wall as I'm like walking to the elevator. The security guards, like the nurses, are passing by and they're like, do you need a wheelchair? Like, do you need any help? We can help you. And I was like, no, I'm fine, I got it. So I'm like walking, I have to take the elevator upstairs. I walk down the long hall, like I go in, they admit me all over again. I have to pee in a cup, blah blah blah, do the whole process over again when I was literally just there. So you can imagine that I was like really upset, but I was like, whatever, there's no time to be upset. I was just waiting for them to give me a room. At this point, I'm literally just laying in there and they're just monitoring me. A different doctor came, another man, because the doctor that I had that sent me home, he was already done with his shift. He went home at 9 in the morning. So I had another guy doctor and he was basically just telling me to wait. And I was like, my main concern is the epidural. Like, I want the epidural like now. He's like, we can't give you the epidural yet because you have to get a room first. Just like hang in there. They had to get all these tests redone to make sure that my water actually did break. Whatever their little tests that they do, I'm honestly not too sure like every single test that they did on me, but I just know that they had to run all these tests. So after they run the tests and make sure that my water did break, they were like, okay, your water broke, whatever. It's been like 30 minutes. I'm still feeling contractions like even more because they were 2 minutes apart and now they're just like coming. So the whole time that I'm there, it's literally like a blur to me because I was in so much pain. Andy wasn't there to like record anything because he obviously couldn't be there. He was downstairs in his car and I'm literally just laying there with my eyes closed like this every time there was a contraction, which was like very often. after they got all their tests and they're like, okay, your water did break, we are gonna admit you into a room. They're like, but first we have to test you for coronavirus. So I was like, okay, like, can you just hurry up and get the test coming so I can get my epidural, so I can get my room. Like, I'm in a lot of pain. I was frustrated at this point. Like, the anger had came out of me, and I was one of those angry ladies that are in labor, because it is not fun. But I was still trying to be content, you know. I was not like giving them attitude or anything. I mean, a little bit, like, but I couldn't help it. But I was not being rude. I was still being respectful. I was still like trying to like compose myself. So they did me the coronavirus test. They stuck the little thing all up in, swab, 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 swab. Like, I thought the test would be like one little swab, but no, they went up and they were like, and it hurt so bad, but whatever. They finally admitted me into the room. They started like wheeling me in. I don't even know how long after, because as you can tell, like, I was just like not even there. Like, I was there, but like my eyes were closed and I was just feeling the pain. Like, I was just like not there. Like, I was there but I wasn't there, if you know what I mean. So anyways, moving on, I get into the room and I was able to text Andy and tell them like, okay, I'm in this room, like, go ahead and make your way up. So Andy was like, oh, I just left McDonald's, like, I'm on my way, like, now. I'm feeling all the contractions. I keep asking, like, when am I gonna get my epidural? Like, can the doctor please come and give me my epidural already? Like, I'm in pain, I need my epidural. Like, oh, I can't handle this. And so finally the doctor comes in to give me my epidural. And then she leaves. Right after I got my epidural, the doctor was walking out, and as she was walking out, Andy was walking in, and he was just like, so how has it been? And I was like, he just knew that it was like going horrible for me. My water kept breaking. Like, it didn't fully break. Like, as I was laying there after my epidural, even before, like, water was just coming out, and it literally felt like I was a dog on a pee-pee pad, because when you're in labor they put those, it literally looks like a pee-pee pad. So they put a big pad down on the bed and you lay down on top of it. So my pad was wet, my bed was wet, I was wet, and I was just sitting there uncomfortable. Mind you, after they gave me the epidural, my pain didn't just go away like that. I was feeling still everything, like as if I didn't even get an epidural. So I called the buzzer, the little nurse, and I was like, excuse me, my pad is wet and it feels really uncomfortable. And she was just like, yeah, I know, because your water is breaking. And I was just looking around, like, you know, and I was looking at Andy like, I'm really uncomfortable, you know. But she just walked right out. She literally looked at me and said, yeah, I know, it's because your water is breaking. And she walked out. And I looked at Andy and I was like, I don't know why she doesn't change it. Like, I literally feel like super wet. Like, why can't you just change the pad and put me in another one? But I was like, whatever. And then she put the blood pressure thing like right on my elbow. So the thing keeps squeezing, but it's like, it's not even on my arm, it's squeezing my elbow, like this part. I told the lady, I was like, can you move my whatever it's called, the blood pressure thing, because it's very uncomfortable. I couldn't even move my arm. And they did my IV on this arm. So they did it like right here. I don't know if, okay, the camera shut off, but they did my IV literally like right here, like right where my bone is. So every time I wanted to like bend my hand, I couldn't, because the IV was like there. So I had to keep my hand straight. I couldn't like bend it or anything. It was like horrible. I can't bend my hand. Whenever I try to scoop myself up, like I really couldn't, because my hand had like a big needle in it. And my blood pressure on this thing is like squeezing my elbow, and she's not letting me move it up or down, and she's just like, leave it alone. So I feel like I'm sitting like this. I'm sitting like this, still feeling pain as if I didn't get the epidural, and I'm like really uncomfortable because I'm super wet. I started getting like really mad, but I was like, whatever. I mean, there's nothing I can do. No matter how much I told them to change my pad, to like do all these things, they were not listening. The lady takes my temperature and she's like, you have a temperature of like 98, I think. And she was like, you're really hot, which to me, I think like 98 is like normal. And she was like, you're really hot, make sure you keep your mask on, like don't take it off. But that's the reason why they tested me for coronavirus, because if I had COVID, if I tested positive, then I would have to wear a mask. But if I was negative, I could take off the mask and I could labor in peace. But she still made me wear my mask. So I was like super hot with the IV, blood pressure right here, feeling all my pain, feeling wet, having to wear a mask. But it's like I only feel super hot because of all these different things, and because I'm in labor, you know, like you're feeling all these contractions, you're sweating, like you're in pain. But I was like, whatever, like I respectfully kept my mask on. I started feeling so much pressure, and I was like, oh, you know, like when you're in labor, like when you feel the contractions when you're about to like push, you just, well, me personally, I was like not screaming but like making loud noises at this point, where you can pretty much tell that I was in obvious pain. Here's my bed. Andy was like sitting next to me and he was just like, you know, like, what do I do? Like, he did not know what to do, and I felt so bad because in that moment there's like really nothing you can do. So he's like, is there anything I can do? And I was like, yeah, can you find the button so I can call the nurse? I'm still like making all these noises, and then the nurse comes on and I was like, I need to push. So I will go ahead and insert a clip right here.
You want recording?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh. Ah. I feel like I need a push.
So after that, the doctors went ahead and they all like swarmed in. The nurse came in, everybody came in, and they checked me and they're like, oh yeah, like the head is there, like you're about to push. So they lifted me, and this is where my whole like everything just starts. I do have the video, which I probably will post, even though it's like very, what's the word, raw. Like you can literally like see everything, not see everything, but like you can like whatever. I'm probably gonna post it just because I really don't care. Like it's a part of me, it's life, and even though it's like, why would you post that? To me it's like a beautiful thing. So a beautiful thing, but very painful, as you can see in the video. So they lifted me, whatever, and they were like, okay, like push, and I was pushing, and as I'm pushing, you can just hear me in the video say like, I can feel everything, like I can still feel everything. So with my daughter, when I got my epidural, I couldn't feel a thing. I got it at 3 centimeters all the way up to like 10. I didn't feel a thing. Like my body was relaxed. I took naps. They were like, the head is there, and I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like I watched my own labor. They put a mirror there for me, and I got to experience it in a whole nother way than this one. So with this one, I felt everything. Like as I told you guys, got my epidural. After my epidural, like Andy came, it was 40 minutes from when I got my epidural to when I gave birth. So 40 minutes when I got my epidural to when I gave birth. 40 minutes. So 40 minutes I was on the epidural, and I don't know if it kicked in or not, but I still felt everything. So I was pushing, and it was just like so crazy. I felt the baby come out, and I even like screamed a little bit because it kind of like, it hurt. It really did hurt. But I was trying not to be like overly dramatic because, you know, your baby's coming out and you don't want to be that person that freaks out. But I was low-key like freaking out. I ended up pushing. I got through it, and I will go ahead and insert that video.
Hi. Did you get a little comfortable with your epidural? No? Okay, try not to push. You just gotta get everything set up, okay? I know that's hard. I told you we were gonna go fast.
Standard, you don't want to cut the cord? Yeah, alright.
The baby looks vigorous, because we might have to head up baby depending on the meconium situation. So we'll see how the baby looks, okay? Because the baby looks like it might have had a bowel movement inside.
Okay.
Sure.
So I want you to grab behind your thighs, pull them towards you, big breath, and push all the way in your bottom.
Your hip is not
1,
registering.
2, 3,
Okay, come on.
4, right there, 6,
Okay,
7,
I'll make you.
8, 9, and 10. Okay, breathe.
Deep breath out of
Breath
the
out.
Emily.
They're gonna
Oh my gosh, you can feel everything.
Which is right there. I know. Just hold on for a second. So you're breathing, Mama. Okay, let's push. Let's push. We gotta have a baby.
All down below. Good. 2, 3, 4. Right all down below. Come on, right back into it. Push this baby out. Good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Listen, get your hand because I want you're gonna slow the pelvis, okay?
Nice. Deep
You're
breath.
so
Right back into it. Come on.
close.
Good.
Slow and
2,
steady. When's the rate?
3,
Slow and steady, just like
4, 5, 6, 7.
Deep breath and slow and steady.
All down below.
Okay. Deep breath and then go right back in.
Good.
Okay, thank you here.
No.
Okay, they need to come right now. Baby's coming.
Alright, just
Can you put me through again, please?
Oral delivery. Meconium. There you go. Good. Look at your baby. Look at Mama. Look at your baby.
Good push. Push baby out.
There you go.
39 weeks. Meconium.
Good job. Okay. Good job. 30 seconds. Baby comes try, so. Sounds vigorous. We'll tell you in 30 seconds. So we're just going to get the blood extra to the baby. Good job. We have a boy.
Congratulations.
It's a boy.
It's the boy.
If you want to take a picture of them now? I'm just recording a video. Oh, okay. What we're gonna do is if you want to cut, so I don't know if they take pictures of you recording. Oh, okay. You're on record right now? Yeah. Why don't you cut and I'll take the picture, okay? Okay. This is the glove, that's the scissors. And Janelle right here is gonna teach you how, or show you how, to go ahead and cut. Okay?
Okay, just cut like really
It's
close
recording.
to the clamp, okay? Yeah, there you go. Woo!
All right, there you go. There's Daddy. Look at that. There's a smile through that mask. There you go, boss.
Thank you.
Right, boy.
Appreciate it.
You got it, boss. Let me show you places we can go.
Blanket.
Blankets. Anyway, do you want me to, I'm gonna go to another room.
Go. Just go. No.
No. There's a, but it's not gonna be.
He's getting it. He's so cute.
I wonder how much he weighs.
Yeah, he's a big baby.
Do I need to put sugars on you?
I like the farm.
Okay. You wanna put a blanket under him?
Yeah.
So you can wrap him up and then give him some mom. Why are you so
Hey, look at that. All right, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Just a second there. Oh, look at you and your little papoose.
I don't know. It should be.
Are we good? Yeah. Good? Thank you.
I see the sticker. Which I don't have.
Is this okay? Yeah, that's oral. Do you know what
I'm gonna give baby some mom, Dad, okay?
Yeah. I feel like you have more control than go.
You last one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a big baby, 37.15. So that's it. 8 and some change, right? 37.15. 37.15 is a big baby.
So he does weigh 8 pounds?
Well, let me just put it in and see how much that either weight is.
After the baby was born, I felt like the nurse was just so much nicer to me. When they were checking the baby and everything, I was still laying there, and since I could feel everything, they were about to stitch me up, you guys. And I looked at the guy and I was like, I can feel it. Like, I can feel the everything. He's like, you can feel this, and he like, I don't know what he did, and I was like, yes, I can feel that. So the doctor was teaching him. I don't know if he was new or what, but the doctor was like, okay, you're gonna have to do blah blah blah, like all the little doctor talk, like MC blah 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 blah. And I was just like sitting there with my legs open, like. But the doctor grabs this big needle, you guys, and I'm not even exaggerating, like this big needle, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and numb you down there. It's just gonna be like when you go to the dentist and they numb your gums. And I was like, okay. And I just see like my legs look open, the needle going down, and I'm like, again, I was trying not to freak out, because the more you freak out, it's like all in your head. So I was just like, okay, like, oh, I already did the hard part, like, come on. They went ahead and they like gave me the little shot so I wouldn't feel anything. They stitched me up, and there I was breastfeeding. We did the whole latch and the baby latch for like 40 minutes actually, so I timed it. After that, we, I think, put the baby down and we had lunch. We were still in the room, and then after that they went ahead and they transferred us to the other room. Overall, you guys, it was a different experience. I honestly don't want to blame the situation on the whole COVID thing, but I do think that if I had more support with me, that it wouldn't have been as bad. Like if I would have had Andy there, or my mom, or anybody there to like comfort me during this situation, during my labor, while I was having contractions and all that, I would have felt so much better instead of just being alone. I feel like none of the doctors listened to me. If I would have went the second time when I was having contractions every 2 minutes, I would have been able to stay. Like, come on. I just feel like if you're having contractions every 2 minutes, why are you going to send someone home to labor at home? I do not want to labor at home. That's why I'm coming to the hospital. And I don't know if I'm being dramatic, you guys, but I just felt like my first delivery, I had like such good nurses who actually like cared about me the entire time, made me feel comfortable, did anything that I like asked them to. I didn't feel any pain. I got my epidural, like everything was super smooth. And this time around it was just like a 360, like not even a 180, like a 360. Like I really can't complain, but at the same time I just wish things would have gone a little different. But yeah, that is my labor and delivery story. I will go ahead and introduce you guys to my baby. Okay, you guys, let's see. So my hair's a mess, everything's a mess, but I did want to introduce my little baby. I hope you guys can hear me because the AC is on. My hair looks crazy, but mom life. He's a little fussy right now, but yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys. This is baby Andy. We named him after his dad. So this is baby Andy. We named him after his dad. His full name is Andy Angel Robles. He will be 2 months in a few days. He's really tired, but he's like fussy right now. Yeah, he will be 2 months in a few days. Tomorrow he has his appointment for his first shots, so I'm kind of sad. And the doctor did call me today and let me know that only one parent can be present. So we were both kind of sad about that, because obviously it's his first shots and we both want to be there, but we can't. This is a little close-up. Look at his shoes, you guys. They're super cute. They say, I am uninterrupted. His little face. He has some baby acne, but it's normal and it'll go away soon. Yeah, I just can't wait to see what his doctor says about him tomorrow. You guys, I'm so obsessed with my baby. Like, obsessed. So obsessed. He is exclusively breastfed, and I'm so proud of myself for actually sticking to it this time, because with my first pregnancy I unfortunately did not. But yeah, we're hanging in there. Look at him. He's a good eater. He, unfortunately, he cries a lot more than his sister did. I don't know why. I think he's like a colicky baby, but I don't have anything to complain about. I still absolutely love him, even though he can be a little brat sometimes. I love you so much. And yeah, this is my little baby. I wish he could stay small forever like this, because babies, they literally grow so fast. Like literally, he grew out of his newborn clothes, I'd say like less than a week. He's looking at me like, what'd you say? You guys, once I can make a dedicated video on him. I do want to make more videos, like newborn essentials, like a video dedicated to everything that helped me, because each baby is different, and I've obviously learned that this time. There's things that I didn't buy for him that I had to end up buying, but yeah, I will go ahead and get into that in a later video. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. Bye from me and baby Angel. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, baby. He's knocked out.